We're making healthy Almond Joy candy bars with only 5 clean ingredients that are gluten and dairy free and taste even better than the original. Hello, my name is Nicole Bonilla, and if you love healthier recipes to our favorite foods, then you are in the right place. Now you're welcome to jot down these ingredients as we go along, or you can click on the link that's in the video description below, and that will take you to the full recipe with all the details, including nutrition facts, ingredients and substitutions, and frequently asked questions. Now to make these really easy Almond Joy bars, we're going to start with our coconut. And I just have 2 cups of unsweetened coconut. And then it works best if you use some type of blender or food processor, and I'm just going to use the chopper cup that comes with my immersion blender. And I think these taste even better by adding a little bit of almond flour. I think it helps kind of fill in the texture, and so it's not just a mouthful of coconut. So I'm adding 1/4 cup of some almond flour, and then as our natural sweetener, we'll add 1/4 cup of maple syrup. You can also use honey. And then to help these bind together once they're cooled, we're going to add some coconut oil. So I have 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Now I'll just put on the lid and we'll blend it till it's well combined. And I also love that this helps to chop down that coconut so they're in a little bit smaller pieces. And you'll know it's the right consistency if you can put some in your hand to kind of roll it up into a ball and it holds together. Now to form our little Almond Joy bars, I find it works really well to just use the small cookie scoop. You could also use a spoon or just your hands. And to make it a little less sticky on your hands, it does help to put a little bit of the coconut oil on your hands before you start to shape them. So I'll take 1 scoop. I'm just going to kind of roll it in my hands to kind of smooth it out, and then place it on my parchment paper lined sheet. And then I'll just use my fingers and gently shape it into that classic Almond Joy shape. And then we just take 1 almond and squish it down on top. Now if you could use more healthy inspiration on a regular basis, I invite you to join my email list. All you have to do is click on the video description below, and that is the best way for us to stay connected. And now we'll just repeat for the rest of our bars. So after I formed the rest of the Almond Joys, I put my tray into the freezer for about 15 minutes. And you'll want to do this to solidify the coconut oil, which helps hold them together when you dip them in the chocolate. Now for the chocolate, you can use any chocolate chips that you like that meet your dietary needs. I just found out about these brand new Hu semi-sweet baking chips, and I think these are really delicious. And I love the clean ingredients. So I've just poured 1/2 cup of chocolate chips into a bowl, and then I'm just going to microwave it in 30-second intervals till it is smooth and melted. So after the first 30 seconds, you can see that it's starting to melt, but it's not there yet. So I'm just going to give it a quick stir to kind of move everything around, and then we'll put these back in for another 30 seconds. After our second round of 30 seconds, we can see that it's really starting to melt. So I'm going to give this a good stir, and it might be warm enough to continue to melt those as I stir it. So after about 30 seconds of stirring, it looks like all of our pieces are nicely melted. And we want the consistency to be very pourable because that makes it really easy for dipping the chocolate and for getting excess chocolate to come off. And so depending on your chocolate, you may or may not want to add a little bit of coconut oil. So I would like this chocolate to be just a tad thinner. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of coconut oil, and we'll just stir that in. And then to dip our Almond Joy, I'm just going to drop it in almond side down, and then quickly flip it over, and then lift it up and out of the chocolate with my fork. And then I'll just kind of scrape the bottom along the side of the bowl, and that helps to get some of that excess chocolate off the bottom. And then we just place it right back onto our sheet. And then I think it's really delicious and fun to add a little bit of flaky sea salt on top. Now once you're done dipping them all in the chocolate, you'll want to put your tray into the fridge or freezer to allow the chocolate to set. But thankfully I have one I made earlier today, and it is ready to enjoy. That is delicious. That has everything we love about an Almond Joy, but I think tastes even better because I love getting the extra depth coming in from the almond flour, and then being able to choose the chocolate that it's dipped in. And I love the crunch from the almond and that little bit of sea salt on top. And I love that it's made with clean ingredients. And I want to thank you for joining me today in my kitchen. I've included the link to the full recipe, and it's in the video description below. And that will take you to my website, gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I invite you to join me again in my kitchen.